Security UK. To be fought over three-minute rounds and amateur mixed martial arts rules in the welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the cage with a mixed martial arts record of 3 victories, no defeats. Representing Red Kings MMA, ladies and gentlemen, Sife-allah Azahaf. His opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. He enters with a mixed martial arts record of 4 victories, 4 defeats, representing RPMMA. Please welcome Bradley Owen.
Welterweight action here. Sife-allah Azahaf. He's coming out of the Red Kings MMA camp from the blue corner. And he's versing Bradley Owen from RPMMA out of the red corner.
Yeah, Azahaf coming out to Spice Girls. Always an interesting look. On top now, early doors, looking to pass the guard. Great work, passes into side control.
Did a great job of coming, sorry Dave, he did a great job of coming around with those hips, but he didn't control the head. That's what allowed Bradley to turn down here and try to get to his feet.
Yeah, Owen looking for the takedown himself now, but Azahaf looking for that head control. Good work to get that pass again in that scramble there, back into side control now.
And the key there was Azahaf's hips. His hips went down and he immediately controlled the head. That stopped Owen turning into him and using the hip escapes to get out of that position. Did a great job of turning his hips downward here, but Azahaf did a great job of utilizing the underhook. He's got his arm underneath the right arm of Owen.
Yeah, Owen's one of those just strong, flexible guys you can see, because Azahaf had the big crossface on there and he still managed to flip his way out of it.
Owen did a good job of getting his knee across the belly, utilizing the half guard position here. He's gonna have to get the underhook with his left arm to have more control in this position. Azahaf did a great job of keeping the shoulder heavy and the head indeed heavy down to the mat, looking to pass into a better position, but again, Owen just pops straight back up.
Yeah, I don't know how he gets out. It's like against conventional rules, but he's just twisting his body and getting up. Just one of those guys that can just pop up out of nowhere. Very impressive.
But you've got to think, though, every time Owen does that, he's working, he's expending energy, whereas Azahaf is just sitting on top, using gravity and the gift of his weight down to make Owen work.
You can see Azahaf now just really trying to solidify this position, like big shoulder of justice here in the side of his opponent's face, because he knows this guy just keeps popping up and I almost can't work it out, you know. He's got the underhook on that side. Now maybe looking for the crucifix position, but Owen again being awkward on the bottom, not really shipping too much damage, Dean, despite losing positionally.
Owen again with the hip escapes, he'll plant his left leg and move his hips out. Try and turn down again. Beautiful work. He's just able just to, I think there's a flexibility there in his lower back of his body. He's just gifted in flexibility.
Very impressive.
Does a great job of putting his hips downward, which gives him the power to stand up because his legs are underneath him. But Azahaf looking for the hooks here. He's got to get both these hooks in for optimal control. There we go. 2 hooks. He's got to stay square with the back. He doesn't want to end up here with Owen on top of him in the guard position. Does a great job of staying low across the belt line, looking to hammer in the punches. And Azahaf being shook off there into the position at the end of the round. An interesting display of the scrambles and the transitions on the ground and just the awesome ability to stand back to his feet from Bradley Owen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very dominant round from Azahaf, really, but without managing to mount too much offense in terms of impact or damaging shots. Owen did really well. You know, there was positions, he had his opponent on top of him in side control, his opponent had his back. He did well just to stay scrappy and not really take too much damage. So although it's a dominant round for Azahaf, Owen very much still in the fight and hasn't taken any damage of note, really. I mean, I noticed, I think that's David Kauser in his corner, Bama vet. Had a few good fights on Bama, a very tough all-round kind of guy. So I expect Owen to be very scrappy and have a lot of heart, and that's what he's shown so far with some of these sort of unorthodox stand-ups, Dean. Like you say, just a lot of core power and flexibility. He's just standing up here. It'd be interesting to see Azahaf's tactics going into the second.
Round 2. Azahaf now working nice high guard. To see him pump that jab out, to give Owen something to think about, and then put that right hand in. He's using the kicks at distance, trying to go on the inside, looking for the combinations. Beautiful work by Azahaf, some nice boxing skills being displayed. And now Owen looking for the takedown of his own. But Azahaf working the unhooks there. He's trying to hike Owen back up to get him above the hips and square up, turn around in this position here. And of course, Owen wants to be able to clasp his hands underneath both the arms of Azahaf and tie up one of those legs. But he's given his back in this position. And we see Azahaf now. He's going to keep that knee down, look for the shots underneath and over the top of the arms. Owen did a good job of controlling that right arm there. One hook in for Azahaf. He's going to try and get the left hook now. He's got to stay on the back. Owen did a good job of bringing the arm round to the head. He's trying to pull Azahaf downward and like a circular motion down to the right side there, so he ends up on top.
Very, very good control from Azahaf there. I mean, he's making that look a lot easier than it is. You know, to stay on the back there and not end up with your opponent in your guard is very difficult, because he's got a tricky customer underneath him. But he's taking his time, and a very, very good positional jiu-jitsu now as he looks to go to work with the shots. Has lost a hook on this side, I think.
Owen trying to get to his feet here, pops out beautifully. I think that was the hook loss that you alluded to that allowed him to kind of stand up and turn around there. Azahaf now has got to work in with these punches. But keep the hands up in these exchanges, however. Owen's got some crisp striking. Does a great job of firing those punches straight down the line.
It's funny you should mention that, because Kauser's got a very similar style that is coached there in his corner. To be honest with you, he's been overmatched in some fights on Bama on occasions, but what he does well is the basics. He's a tough guy, and he keeps the strike straight down the middle, and it looks like that's what his fight is doing as well, although Azahaf pouring on a bit of offense then. But yeah, Kauser does all the fundamentals well and makes a fight with anybody, you know. And it looks like, oh, as I say that, Azahaf getting a bit of success there with a couple of these hooks.
Azahaf did a good job there of firing the right hand down the pipe, and he came back with a back fist across the face of Owen. Very confident in his striking game here, and he's teeing off. Owen needs to get his back off this cage, use jabs and circular punches, hooks, to move out of this position laterally. Some blood there seeping from the nose of Owen. It's evident that those strikes making it all the way through. Beautiful right hand here from Azahaf.
Yeah, Owen needs to get the respect from Azahaf, and I say that, he gets the takedown. He definitely needed to change it up, because Azahaf was getting extremely comfortable there, just started teeing off in his guy, almost walking him down. So Owen at least has given him something to think about at the end of that round. You know, he's mixed it up, he's got the takedown. So Azahaf knows he's got that in his locker, but a good round for Azahaf. Again, started with the grappling dominance, but Owen able to give up his back momentarily, not take any real damage again, get back to his feet. And the story of that round really was Azahaf just pouring on the striking, walking his man down, hurting him, could possibly be looking at a broken nose maybe for Owen. It's a good round for Azahaf. It's going to be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised, Dean, if Owen came out looking for a takedown early doors in this round. Yeah,
he's got to explode. He cannot just sit in this category of being a tough customer for Azahaf. He needs to implement his own game plan, whether that's the level change, land on top in a really dominant position, and look for the finish. Round 3. Azahaf more of the same here. And Azahaf needs to, there we go, he's moving quite well, but he's leaving his head in the same spot. I'd like to see some more head movement from Azahaf. Big right hands being exchanged here. Forward motion and punches from Owen, as Owen is looking to work the takedown here.
Yeah, landed a nice right hand, Owen, but needs to be careful about giving up his back. Does well to get that whizzer in.
Double underhooks from Azahaf. Using that head to lever Azahaf around. But Azahaf sensed that. That's why he pinned him up against the cage, and he's using the single leg now. He's going to look to step to the outside and circle round to his left to finish this takedown. He's got to defend the neck, however. And Owen dropped down for that guillotine, but just missed short of the guard. He wanted to get both the legs round the body and not settle for the half guard here, because Azahaf is going to be able to work out of this position. Once he gets his head free, he's on top.
Yeah, need to let go of that head, really. Danger of von Flue, etc. He does that. Gets his guard back.
Azahaf now looking for the ground and pound. Big right hands sneaking their way through. And we're seeing Owen again square the hips down and stand straight back up.
Azahaf looking to sneak round to his opponent's back again.
Working for the unders. You can see that Azahaf digging his arm through. He wants to get underneath both the arms. He's got the back position now. Back up against the cage. And Owen now looking to configure the arms. He wants to split those arms. Nice belly to back. And brings him down to the mat now, working to keep this top position. He's got to stay heavy here. He's going to work around the back to get his hooks in, but he needs to get his own back off the cage. As you can see there, Azahaf is trying to circle away from the cage. If this goes to the ground and Azahaf's back is to the cage like this, it's a bit more difficult to get the leverage to finish the choke. Not impossible, but a bit more difficult.
Oh, he's attacking the footlock there, I think, from across crossed feet. You don't see that very often.
Yes,
Azahaf gets away with it.
Yeah, Azahaf, I think he crossed his feet there momentarily. If you bring your leg over the top and triangle your legs and force your hips out, there's a footlock there. But, I mean, like you said, Azahaf recognized that and immediately opened the hooks out to the inside of the hips of Owen. And now you can see Azahaf's back is not up against anything. If he gets that choke in, he's got free range of motion and leverage. And Owen looking to turn, and Azahaf has got to recognize that and follow him. Keep the control of the hips, end up square on the back. Azahaf now accepting that position. He should have forced his hips forward and tried to end up in the mount position, but again, Owen did a great job of squaring his hips downward at the end of that round to finish up on top.
Yeah, good performance from Azahaf.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our judges' scorecards. With a unanimous decision, your winner in the blue corner, Sife-allah Azahaf. And let's hear it for his opponent. Give it up for Bradley Owen.